And time. I was able to transfer over the 40 different hard drives that had a few thousand hours of television, satellite broadcasts, and I found 27 that worked and the rest just didn't. Click City, nothing good there. The drives that are working will go into storage again. The others will probably also go into storage, and maybe we'll look into repairing them. But, like I said, thousands of hours of television and satellite broadcasts preserved, available, and analytical machines thought to be science fiction or spy thrillers a few years ago will go through them, find what was said, do visual analysis, produce heat maps, be separated into classifications, and generally, maybe, be turned into something useful, fascinating. We can always hope, but I'm not really hoping. I know that buried in these thousands of hours, that are about to become hundreds of thousands of hours, are fascinating things, and what we do with them will be, in some ways, truly miraculous. This is Jason Scott Talks His Way Out of It, a podcast about technology, history, and getting myself out of debt. Thanks to Jeff Atwood and the hundreds of other supporters on Patreon and elsewhere who have been supporting me and helping me get out of debt. Video, within the context of the archive, is a real pain. It's incredibly large compared to the information it puts across. Sure, visual information is invaluable, but sometimes if you have news programs or people just talking and the image is static, you're still absorbing so much disk space for so much relatively easy to summarize material. The real sweet spot at the Internet Archive is audio. We have millions of hours of audio, everything from recorded speeches and home taping to podcasts, radio broadcasts, DJ sets, going on for over 100 years, ranging from shortwave radio to the latest club hits. The place has an audio landscape that is both compact and easy to access, can work across incredibly low modern bandwidth, and provides so much insight into the world we've lived in for the last century. Not so much with television. Television preservation has been spotty all of its existence, requiring filming at the beginning, and now 4K massive video images of sports and news eat up so much disk space compared to what they have. But here we are, using either MPEG-2 or MPEG-4, and going through what this latest batch of hard drives, which I stress were stored outside like firewood in someone's yard for 20 years, might yield. Satellite broadcasts and television recordings have a potential to be a whole range of additional information that people might not even know has value. There might be businesses, programs, individuals speaking, special breaking news, special live events that aren't recorded anywhere else. Buried among all of these tapes might be some local event, some discussed subject that was in some oral histories or maybe an article in the local newspaper, but nowhere else. We learn about how people talk, about how they hold themselves, about how stories move around. And there's often a lot of transient information in television. While production is a very expensive proposition, there's an immediacy that comes through the talk shows, the daytime television, even the local commercials, that gives us hints about people, sociological, cultural, that again, might not be anywhere else. For that reason, their value is inherent to me. One need only do the simple process of transfer. With the hard drives, it should be incredibly fast. I can copy over a hard drive with 100 hours of video in about 60 minutes and then spend a few hours uploading it. But if it's tape, I have to digitize it in real time for a while. 6 hours of video takes 6 hours to digitize. There's no faster method. The way one gets around this is to go parallel, to do 2, 3, or 4 different tapes at once. The idea of having, in 4 hours, 16 hours of video. That's how you stop yourself from going crazy, from not being able to figure out where the end is. After all, we're constantly creating new video. The archive has petabytes of Twitch streams. I don't even know where to begin with that problem. But getting back to the content on these hard drives, which come from the early part of the 2000 to 2005 or 6, we see recordings of politics, of war, of culture, of people talking about subjects that they might cover again in later years. Figures here at the beginning of their careers, now considered to be veterans or people of power, with potential to find interesting changes in their outlooks. For the fans, and I'm using air quotes, of these videos, there's a wide range of personalities, but a lot of them are hardcore completionists with a little sprinkle of conspiracy. For various reasons, video might not make it up. A tape breaks, they missed doing the recording, a TV tuner doesn't work anymore, or the encoding goes wrong. I swear to you, there has been no television video that has passed anywhere through my hands where I have removed it for some ultimate reason that's preventing this information from being something I want to put up there. Let me say that again. If I can make it read, it goes up. The people who are convinced that there's things that people don't want to see, well, I'm not that person, and I'm going to let you see it. However, it is not out of the ordinary with these collections to have August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, miss out on the 5th, and have 6, 7, 8. Not because there was anything special about the 5th. Not because there's some secret to be hidden. Literally because the tape never got made, or it broke, or the tuner broke, or a million other reasons. The pure will of recording hours of television every day for years. Well, I've seen the setups. I've seen how people do this. It's pretty out there. Quite an endeavor. In fact, it may be one of the hardest endeavors ever, because they're doing it out of compulsion. There's no remuneration. There's no business that's making them do it. They're doing it because they feel they have to. And sometimes the metal, the plastic, the signal, the body breaks down, and times are missed. Think of the VCR tape half full instead of half empty, if you have to. On these tapes are insights and glimpses into local culture and personality that would never survive otherwise. Car dealerships trying everything, late-night commercials, people doing specials at events that maybe only a few thousand people went through, and they might not even know that there were recordings of the stuff that they did, of the event that they attended, of the music or the performers or the speakers at the time. That, to me, is a priceless motivator to do this sort of work. I have a large amount of this left to go. Pallets of my own and pallets that others are doing. There's going to be millions of hours of video. I know that's going to be the case. And what are we going to do with those millions? Well, we're probably going to make analytical engines that go through it. read what's being written, listen to what's being said, and hopefully, to the best of its programming, be able to derive value, accessibility, and reason, and be open to people doing very strange and complex searches and finding what they're looking for. It'll never be instantaneous. Instantaneous costs money, and the money isn't there. But having finished these 27 living experiments, having learned how they suffered through Northeast weather for 20 years to be turned into these video files accessible to the world, can we really turn our back on such an obvious miracle? We'll be right back after this digitization. This is Jason Scott Talks His Way Out of It, thanks to James Bekoyanu, Ernie Hershey, Michael Rubin, David Fisher, Sean Kelly, Trixie the Cat, Symbionts, Benjamin Guts, and Anonymous, along with the hundreds of other supporters on Patreon and elsewhere who have been supporting me and helping me get out of debt. The format march continues, now with mini DV added to U-matic and VHS and video files on hard drives and USB sticks. We've got cassettes, we've got reel-to-reel coming. It never ends. Maybe one day it will. And then maybe I'll sit back and I'll listen for a change.